So I just got back from a trip to San Diego, and while I was there, I obviously shot a ton of photos and videos, but some of my favorite images that I captured on the trip were actually taken in JPEG on a $50 lens. So for today's video, I thought it would be fun to kind of talk about this lens and this setup that I kind of made around it to kind of get these style of images directly out of camera. So let's talk about it. Okay, so what is this $50 lens that I am talking about? So it's actually the lens out of a disposable film camera that has been put into a 3D housing that allows you to mount it and use it on modern full frame cameras. What this essentially allows you to do is give your digital images that disposable film look. The specific one I have here is from Dispo Lens. This video isn't sponsored by them in any way, but they did reach out to me on Instagram and offer to send me over the lens to try. But yeah, they're not sponsoring this video, but I will leave them in the description below if you want to check out one of these lenses for yourself. But yeah, as you can see from these images, this lens really does give your photos that disposable film look. I wouldn't say it's a one-to-one representation of disposable film, obviously, because it's still a digital sensor, but it does give them a unique and distinct look that's kind of reminiscent of those, disposable film cameras. And it's definitely a much different look than compared to just using any regular lens on your camera. When it came to myself using this lens on my recent trip, I wanted it to almost be very similar to how it would be using a disposable film camera. I wanted the setup that I had around the lens to be small and compact, and I also wanted it to be point and shoot. I didn't want to have to do a ton of editing in post in order to get good looking images. I wanted the images to look great directly out of camera. But to fit the size requirements that I was looking for this lens, I actually mounted it to a Sony a7C II. And I think this is the perfect camera body for a lens like this because it is so small and compact that it really does kind of feel like one of those old disposable film cameras, albeit obviously built a lot nicer and with a lot more features included. But this lens paired with the a7C II honestly made me appreciate and really grow to love this C2 a lot more. It instantly became a lot more lightweight and fun to use and become a camera I really wanted to carry around with me, almost making me to the point of kind of regretting making the decision to sell the C2 because I've had so much fun using it with a lens like this. With my size requirements met, I moved on to trying to turn this a7C II into a point and shoot camera. Like I said before, I wanted to avoid having to edit any of these photos that I took with this lens. I wanted it to be a point and shoot experience. This in turn led me down the rabbit hole of trying to create an in-camera preset or recipe for the a7C II. Similar to how Fujifilm cameras emulate different film stocks, I wanted to try and do something similar but on my Sony cameras. And after some trial and error, I was indeed able to make a recipe or in-camera preset for the C2 that I was really happy with. I used the same one for all of these images, and I was really impressed, honestly, with the colors I was able to get directly out of camera. If you want to try this in-camera preset that I've made for Sony cameras, I've actually thrown it up on my website, and I'll have it linked also down in the description. As much fun as I did have using this lens, there are a few caveats that you should keep in mind if you're interested in picking one up for yourself. For instance, the lens is super small, so it's not going to let a ton of light in, so make sure if you're out shooting with it, you've either cranked your ISO or you're shooting in pretty bright conditions. There's also no focus control on this lens. Obviously, it is just focus to infinity, so you're going to want to shoot pretty wide with it if you want everything to be in focus. The 3D printed housing also isn't a perfect fit for my camera body, so there is a little bit of light leak between the housing of the lens and the camera body itself, but it might just be me, but I really did enjoy these kind of imperfections and these light leaks. I think they gave images a really unique look, and I had a lot of fun kind of playing with them. Obviously, when using a lens like this, it's not about getting the best possible results. There's other much more expensive lenses for that. What this lens is great at is capturing the essence of having fun with photography and taking images. For those of you who are wondering, you can actually use this lens in video. I did test it with a couple clips, and it does kind of give your videos that kind of vintage feel. Obviously, the same kind of drawbacks that were present in photo are also present when shooting video, with the additional downsides of not being able to mount any kind of ND filter or control your aperture. So making sure you're properly exposed can be a bit challenging, but it can be done if you're pretty careful about this kind of circumstances that you use this lens in. With it being so small, it doesn't let a ton of light in, so it's actually a little bit easier to shoot video with it than you might expect. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts after using this disposable film lens. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of share it with you because I thought it was fun. But let me know what you thought of the images and of this lens down in the comments. Is this something that you would try using? Let me know, of course, in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.